Right, boys, welcome back to another episode of the Two Real Podcast. It's episode 11 today. I'm going to get straight into this one. I've really sat here for a couple hours and planned completely the sort of topics I'm going to be speaking about today. So I know they're quality, I know they're good. Just about getting straight into it and, giving you the right advice. So let's get straight into the podcast. But before we do, just another reminder that you can access this podcast on Spotify, on Amazon Podcasts, on Apple Podcasts as well. And you can go listen to it whenever you want, wherever you want. So go check it out now. It's live on all of those platforms as well as YouTube. So go check it out. Don't let life stop you from living life. The natural reaction when we are dealing with things or we are going through things or things are happening to us that we don't want, to happen to us, bad things are going on. Our natural reaction is just to stop and to stand still. And the dangers of this is when you stand still, you stay in that place. And it stops you from actually living your life and carrying on. Because when you're standing still and you're getting caught up on all these problems and all these things you're going through or things that have happened in the past and you're just staying there, you're going to stay in that bad spot. You need to be trying to understand that whatever you go through, good, bad, whatever it may be, you have to keep moving forward regardless, because if you don't and you choose to stand still, nothing's going to change, nothing's going to get better. You're not going to be able to carry on living your life. You're not going to be able to now maybe have the possibility of having good things happen to you. If you stay in the bad spot and because bad things are happening to you, bad things are going to continue to happen to you. Nothing's going to get better. Nothing's going to be moving forward. But if you decide, you know what, no matter what I've been through, no matter what trauma, no matter what things I'm going through now, no matter how I feel about doing them, you know what, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to move forward regardless. I'm going to carry on. I'm going to have that warrior instincts. I'm just going to carry on and keep pushing through all these bad things that are happening to me. And I understand it's easier said than done, but I feel that because it's a choice, maybe it's hard, but it's still a choice. You have a choice to keep moving forward. You have a choice to do the good things in your life. You have a choice to work through the hard things and to understand that getting caught up on them is not going to do you any good. It's only going to do you bad. So I feel like when we have a choice, there's no excuse for people to be making the wrong one constantly. I feel like if it's uncontrollable and you don't have that choice there, I understand that, okay, well, there's nothing you can do. But because you do have that choice to start getting on a good path, because you do have that choice to, you know what, it doesn't matter what I've been through, I'm just going to keep moving on. I'm just going to keep working. I'm just going to keep enduring what I'm having to endure, because in due course everything will come together, everything will get better over time. But it's not going to get better over time if I'm getting caught up in this same moment, this same second. If I'm getting caught up on this, nothing's going to get better, nothing's going to move forward. I'm just going to spend time reminiscing about and overthinking about all these bad things that are happening to me, or that specific bad thing that made you stop. You're just going to sit there and be like, oh shit, then you're going to get caught up on it. Then it's going to lead you down a dark path, because then you're going to end up sitting there laying in your bed being lazy, not going to the gym, not doing all these good things. It's this repetitive negative multiplier effect. When you get stuck in that bad position of doing bad things, it definitely doesn't do you good, but it doesn't do you any sort of good. It only does you bad. But why it's a negative multiplier effect is when you get caught up in that bad position, you then will choose bad options. If something bad has happened to you, to get over that, you will try and eat bad things, scroll on social media all day, be lazy, feel like you need rest. There's no good in this. So when you get caught up, it only is a negative multiplier effect. It only leads to worse, bad and more worse things. So you need to learn that, you need to make the decision that, you know what I am going through, what I have been through, yes, it's tough, but I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep having the mindset that, no matter what I go through, I have a choice to keep moving forward. I have a choice that things can be better. I have a choice that, all these bad things have happened to me, but it doesn't matter, because I'm going to work through them and I'm going to get through them. I'm going to come out the other side an even better person, an even happier person. But you have to let go of those bad things first, and you have to stop pausing and getting stuck in that moment of when bad things happen. They're going to happen. It's part of the journey. It's part of the way of life and the process of life. But the only way you're going to keep moving forward is by understanding that it's a choice and you can move forward and things can be better. So make the right decision. And for my next topic today, I want to go over something that I've spoke about in a few of my podcasts now, but I wanted to cover it more extensively, and what that is you are your thoughts. The way you think is how reality is going to be perceived, and the way you perceive reality is exactly how your reality is going to go. It's exactly how your reality is going to look. How you perceive is how you then act, and then how you act turns into a behavior, and your behavior is now it's going to be your lifestyle. If you are thinking negatively and you are thinking, you know what, all these bad things are happening to me, my life is shit. Maybe it is. Maybe you are out of shape. Maybe it isn't looking so good, but it doesn't mean it can't be better. But if you're having that mindset that things are going to stay the same, and that everything you're going through is just because you're unlucky, then it's going to go that exact way. That's just the way it's going to go. If you think bad things are going to happen. But the reverse side of that, the other side of the coin is, if you start thinking positively and you start relaying to yourself and just saying to yourself, you know what, things can be better, and they will be better if I put in the work and I do all the steps required, for them to be better, then it will be better. It will be good. Doesn't mean that I'm not still going to go through hardships. I will. That's part of the process, like I said before. But it first starts in your mind. It first starts in the way you view life. It just starts in the way that you view your life. And if you view your life negatively, it's not going to be so good, is it? But if you start viewing it positively, things are going to get better. So this principle can be, it can be used for anything. It could be the way you eat. If you think, you know what, well, I might as well do this. It's comfortable, it makes me feel good in the moment. That's the thing. Then it's going to be that way. But it's going to be that in every single moment of your life. You're going to keep living in comfort. But if you think, you know what, I'm going to go out of my comfort zone. I'm going to test myself. I'm going to start eating better 100% of the time every day and turning up for myself. Well, things are going to get better. The way you think and then the way you act on those thoughts and your behaviours from those thoughts, they turn into your lifestyle. They turn into the way things go in your life. So start thinking of it in a positive way. Start doing it in a good way, in which it is a powerful tool. You've got to think of it as a powerful tool. The exact way you think, the exact way you then act on those thoughts, is the way life is led. That is what is going to lead. That is what is going to lead your behaviours to. So to not repeat over the point 5-10 times over and over again, given the same explanation, what I mean by this is it can be used in a positive manner. It can be used as a powerful superpower, because if you see it as a superpower and you think, you know what, that goal feels impossible, but I believe it is possible. I believe that it isn't impossible. I believe that I can do this. And you put in the work to do that, then you're going to be able to do it. So it's such a powerful tool. You just got to start speaking to yourself as if your life is already good when it may not be, and then it will end up being better, especially through your daily actions as well. You need to start treating yourself as if you're valuable. Okay, most people treat themselves like shit, and that's why a lot of the time their life is shit. You need to understand that you can set that straight. It is possible to set that straight. I feel like the last 2 points I've gone over, there are going to be a lot of people giving excuses to why they can't think good, or why they can't just move on. And this is the third point. This is the leading point here. It's that you can set this straight. Maybe it's going to take a lot of hard work. Maybe it's going to take a lot of brain and mental strength. Of course it is. Even if you're mentally weak, you still can portray those ideas of mental strength, because it's something that builds up over time. There's something that builds up through going through these hardships. But I feel like for a lot of you, you feel like everything has to be perfect. And when you believe everything has to be perfect, every time something good happens, you're like, oh, well, it wasn't the best possible outcome. You believe everything has to be perfect, which means when you're going through bad things, you believe, oh, well, it's not perfect, so I'm just going to give up. That's the mindset. You don't even try to set things straight. You don't even try to think good and act on good. You don't even try and move on, because you don't have any self-belief. And that's the thing. You give up too early. You give up before you even try, because you believe you are not capable of doing something based off who you are now, based off where you're from, based off your name, based off these little minor things that mean nothing now, that can be built up over time. It doesn't matter where you are now. You can do better. But before you actually start moving on, before you start giving those positive perceptional thoughts in your brain that you can do better, you have to first believe that it is possible, that you can set it straight, that you can get out of that rabbit hole of dark thoughts and deep emotional states. You need to understand that you can do this. You can. but it all starts with you, and it all starts within your mind and you believing that you can actually do it in the first place. And for this podcast today, it's quite structured because I want each point to flow and I want each point to summarize the next. And for this one, it is saying you're doing the thing isn't actually doing the thing. Saying things are going to be better, saying that you're going to go to the gym and you're going to make your life better isn't actually doing it. What is doing it is action. It's about thinking, you know what, if I want my life to improve, I want it to be better, and I want to feel better, I want to feel healthier, I've got to actually do the steps required to be able to achieve that, circumstance. So if you want to be in better shape, you want to have better mental strength, you've got to start going to the gym, you've got to start eating right. That's just the way things are. You saying that, you know what, I'm going to start going to the gym, I'm going to start eating right, I'm going to start doing this, it isn't doing the thing. You're not actually going to get any benefit by just saying it. You're actually going to get negative because you're lying to yourself. You're giving yourself false perceptional hope. You're saying to yourself, oh well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but then you're not staying true to yourself. You then don't go and do the specific action required. You then just lie to yourself. You make false promises. So you need to understand that the only way for these things to change, and the only way you can move on from all of these things, is by actually putting the steps in action, actually doing what is required to move on and to feel better. Our biggest successes come when we feel like giving up, but we decided to carry on. Okay. And this is relating to that standing still phase. It's when, you know what, I'm trying, but it's hard. It's really, really hard. It's really difficult. So I'm just going to stop and I'm going to give up, and I'm actually going to end up going backwards. You need to understand that if you keep moving forward, that's when you're going to be rewarded the most, because most people can't move forward. Most people can't keep going, especially when it gets hard. So if you are someone that can adapt that mentality of no matter what problems I face, I can keep moving, then you will be rewarded for that. And that's when you will see your biggest results and your biggest successes, because you were willing to do the work that others weren't. And that will be rewarded. You will see the value in that. There's a reason why things are so difficult. It's because it gives it value. If you want to improve your life, if you want to improve your health and the way you look in the gym, it's valuable. It's a hard task. That's what makes it so valuable. So when you've put in that hard work and you've then achieved that physique, or you've achieved optimum health, that's the value in it. That's the result you will get. But it does require extra work, and it requires the work in which is harder than just doing it, okay, I'll do it for a month, I'll give it a try. No, you've got to do it for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. You've got to keep going. You've got to never quit this, especially if you want to maintain it eventually. You've got to never quit. And that's when you will see the biggest successes, when you decide to be the person that doesn't quit, when you decide to be the person that keeps going no matter what. So you've got to start trying to adapt that mindset if you want anything to change. Especially if you want to actually start doing this thing consistently and you want to become really good at doing that specific thing. You've got to do it over and over again. When you play the piano once and you have that first lesson, you might learn a little bit, but you're not a professional. You might do it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. You're still not a professional. You might do it for a year straight. You might not still be a fucking professional. You might still not be amazing at it. So that's the principle you've got to apply to different areas of your life. The gym, for example, if you do a year in the gym, yeah, you're going to see big progress, but you might still not be where you want to be. And that requires even more work. It requires you to go to lengths that most aren't willing to go to. And that's when you will see the biggest results. You just got to be willing to persevere and understand that hardships will come. Good things will also come as well, but more good things will come. You'll be rewarded more when you decide to push past those hardships and to push past those times when, you know what, you didn't feel like doing it. And instead you felt like giving up, but you decided to keep moving forward. And to tie a lot of this in, you need to not just focus on what you're doing, but you also need to focus on who you're becoming. I think most people focus on the end destination, that end goal where, okay, I'm doing all this work and I'm doing all of this work for money, or I'm doing all this work for the physique or this and that. But actually, what am I doing this for? Do I get my own peace out of it? Am I upgrading my own character? What is that genuine deep reason to why you're doing everything? And it's not just about the reasoning, it's about, is it for you? Because if you're doing these specific things to get a result to show others, other than to show yourself and to build yourself up in your own character, then that's the wrong mindset to have. it can be a great motive. It can help you work harder knowing you're going to prove people wrong. But if that's your only motive, there's going to be a stage in which you're going to give up, because a lot of the time when you even achieve that physique or you achieve those goals, you realise that not a lot of people care. People don't care as much as you think. So the most important thing isn't that destination. It's not that false reasoning. It's that deeper level understanding of, okay, I'm doing this for these reasons. And once I do these things, I'm not only going to see the results from them, I'm going to see myself improving. I'm going to see my own character building, because I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for my own desires, my own reasons. So you just need to understand that the destination is important. This is why we're doing things. We're doing it for that destination, but you need to balance that coin with your own character development, your own mental strength, your own peace, your own tranquility, your own freedom. Because that's what it's all for at the end of the day. It's not just for money. It's not just for that physique. It's for, yes, I have this physique, but am I happy? Did I build my character to have good mental strength? So now I have this physique. I'm not only happy about the physique, I'm happy in myself because I put the work in, I achieved that physique. It's a deeper level understanding of character development that you need to start enduring, and you need to start applying to when you're doing this work. Don't just do the work, don't just have improvements. Understand that the character development is the most important thing. It's the most important key, especially for long-term success in yourself as well, because you need to remain happy for as long as possible. That's the point, right? It's the happiness, it's the freedom, it's that peace. That's the word I like to use so often, peace, because most people, they want a good physique to show others, they want money to show others, but peace doesn't always come with that. You don't always get that level of peace. For me, happiness sparks in peace. It's feeling tranquil in yourself. It's feeling happy in yourself and who you are, not just what you are to others. So just focus on your character development, just focus on yourself, focus on cracking down on that, and also obviously focus on cracking down on the work itself as well, towards working towards those goals. But understand that you got to try and handle both. You got to balance both, because one without the other is dangerous. If you focus only on the end result and not who you're becoming along the way, when you have that end result, you might not be happy. You might not have peace. It might not have fueled you with what you thought it would. The other side of that coin, if you only focus on the character development and not the work required to achieve a certain goal, then you're not going to achieve that goal at all. You're just going to focus on yourself and you're going to get nowhere. So you need to focus on both, and things will get better and things will be improved, not only in the short term, but in the long term successes of yourself as well. Right, boys, I don't know how long this podcast has been today, but I haven't focused on quantity. I focused on quality, because the thing is, I feel like sometimes I can branch off with topics, which is natural. That's fine. It obviously happens especially if I want to speak about multiple different things. But sometimes I go on a tangent a bit too much and it doesn't relate to the exact issue. So I want to have more structure with these podcasts, and to structure each one and to dedicate each one to speak about a certain thing and to break it down into different categories. And that's what I've done today, with the same sort of idea of moving on. So we're going to tie this podcast episode off today. I hope it hasn't been too short. I hope it has been a long one, regardless of the quality, impact. And yeah, the last lesson for today is that big things don't happen on small timelines, okay? A lot of the time, when we want our lives to improve, we want things to be better, we want to notice these results, these improvements, and we want to get rewarded for that. We expect it to happen on tiny little timelines. We expect to go to the gym for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and for things to be amazing, and for things to be everything we wanted it to be in such a short amount of time. And I think that's the thing, because we want things to happen quickly, especially if we're working towards things, because it means then we don't have to work as hard. It means then we have the result, but then people actually forget about the maintaining of the result as well. Once you have the result and you've worked hard, you still need to maintain it as well. I feel people like to ignore these ideas whilst they're working towards things, because they would rather not do the hard work. They'd rather be lazy and back in discomfort. But you need to understand that nothing happens in short times. It takes a long time, and the fact that it takes a long time and it takes a long time of working hard means it has value. We'll go back to the last point. That makes it has value. If you work to get something over a long period of time and you finally achieve it, that's what makes it so valuable, because you decided to carry on regardless of your situation. You decided to never quit, and you decided to trust the process and trust the time. And I feel like a lot of people don't do this. They're always looking at the clock like well, okay, I'm going to do a 6 months gym transformation, and then they cut it off, and it's just like, yeah, you can do some good things in 6 months, but you can't fully transform yourself. And it's like, okay, well, you're trying to do it short term. You're just trying to trust that the short term is going to change your life, and yeah, maybe will have beneficial impacts, but then you're going to sack it off because you're like, oh well, I don't want to do it long term. I don't want to trust the process long term and what I could have or where I could be. It's about short term, because that's what comfort is. Comfort is short term. It's like, okay, I do this once, I do this twice, I do this 3 times, and I want the result to happen. If I made 3 YouTube videos or 3 podcast episodes and then called it a day because I was like, okay, they're not doing that well, then it's going to be no success in that. I'm not trusting time. I'm hoping that it's going to come short term, but that's not how improvement works anyway. When you trust time, when you work hard, when you try and implement new things and you learn new lessons and you try and improve, well, things will get better. And maybe actually it will be a lot shorter than you think, but 6 months to a year is not how short a lot of these things are going to be for you. They're not going to be that short. You're not going to expect the biggest transformation in the gym and be this big guy or this really slim toned female, if you're watching this, in that short of a time. It's just not going to happen. It just doesn't happen unless you enhance yourself, which I would never recommend doing ever. It's the coward's way out. But yeah, you just have to understand things take time, and the fact that they take time means they're valuable. And you need to understand that short-term feeling of the fact that, oh, I want it now, that's a good desire to have, because I understand you want it. When you finally have that desire to want something, especially something beneficial and positively impactful to your life, and when you want that right now, it might be money. It might be money so you can travel the world and to do this. But it's like the principle of saving. It takes so long. It takes a while to save, and it's annoying that it takes a while. But that's why it makes it so valuable in the end. That you saved up all that time, you saved up all that money, shall I say, to be able to have freedom, to be able to travel the world. That time was worth saving. So apply that same principle to different things. Okay, going to the gym. Yes, it's going to take hard work. Yes, it's going to take a while to do it, but in the end, you will have what you want. Same with saving. So you just got to start implying it into your life, or you just need to start applying it into your life, and you will then soon understand that nothing happens in the short term. You can get short term benefits, but that's the word, benefits. You get benefits from what you're doing. You don't actually get the end result. The end result takes time. That end destination takes time. So you just got to trust it. So boys, to wrap up this podcast episode today, I think it's been a good one. I've sort of stayed along the same lines in terms of this sort of point I've spoke about today, if that makes sense. And I hope it's helped you. I hope you've understood certain things or certain aspects of the same topic today. And yeah, it's been a good one regardless. And so I hope you enjoyed. You can also listen to it again, like I said before, on all those other platforms. So go check it out if you need reminding of the same lesson. And yeah, just keep moving forward. Don't let these bad things in life stop you. Build your character along the way. Don't just focus on the destination. Understand that things take time. Of course they take time. That's why they're valuable. And you need to understand that before you get there, the biggest thing you're going to go through are hardships, and you need to understand that it's okay. You can set those straight. And after you set those straight, the last thing is to understand that your thoughts shape your reality. The way you think, it's going to be the way you feel, and the way you feel is going to impact your behaviors, and your behaviors is going to impact your lifestyle. So you've got to take that into full effect, and you need to start doing it the correct way. So boys, keep moving forward, stay disciplined, stay consistent, never quit, and you will have what you want in the end. But it requires all of that. So do it, and everything will be better. Goodbye for now.